All right, welcome back, West Coast. That tune was Maybelline by a fella named Zaac Pick, who is in studio. Good afternoon. I guess evening? Even at 7 o'clock. It's
Good evening, yeah.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us down here. And, well, let's start with kind of the strange conversation. We should know each other better than we do, apparently.
Well, we're both from the same town.
Yes, yeah. And graduated from the same high school the same year.
Same high school, same year.
And I don't know if it's just some sort of strange fate that we never really crossed paths back then, but whatever. Maybe I was
probably for the best.
Maybe, yeah. I was kind of a jerk back then, and you might not like me if that was the case. But now we're both out here. I'm out here for the long term, and you're here for a show tonight at Wild Heather Books, which is awesome. Yep. They've been putting shows together for the last couple of weeks now. You got you're following actually some pretty cool acts. Sean Ashby, who played guitar for Sarah McLachlan, was out here a while ago. Kevin Kane was out around that neck of the woods. David Gogo a couple weeks ago. So that's pretty sweet. And part of what rocketed you here was success in a songwriting contest.
Yeah, the Shore 104 is a newer station down in Vancouver, and they kind of focus on roots, rock, and rhythm. And they had a contest. Kind of the spring of this year that ran through till the end of July, and it was a songwriting competition. It wasn't a battle of the bands or anything like that. Yeah. So I knew I was safe. I didn't have to. I'm kind of folky pop kind of music, so I knew I didn't have to compete with anybody. Playing guitar with their teeth or breathing fire. So it was all about the songs, and so I submitted one. I submitted kind of you had to submit by video, actually, so it had to be you playing with only one other person, and I only found out about the contest a couple days before it closed, so I thought, well, I only had one video of me only playing with one person, so
that was the song.
That was the one I put in, and I didn't really expect anything to come of it, and I ended up winning.
And sure enough. So in winning, what was the arrangement? Did they arrange to just get the song? Did you end up getting the first radio play out of that, or did they set up the recording process for you?
Well, they were actually playing everyone who's in the top 10. They actually played all of us, pretty regularly. The weeks leading up to the big announcement, which was awesome. But the grand prize winner, they had Jim Cuddy from Blue Rodeo. He was there playing already, and him and the Vancouver mayor. They presented, this golden guitar. They actually spray painted a guitar golden, and it's sitting in my music room right now, smelling like spray paint.
And not playing very well, I assume.
It's playable. Yeah, it's good. It's good. But so they presented with the guitar, and there's some really cool prizes that are really helpful to musicians. And there was a spot at an opening spot for the Burnaby Blues and Roots Festival.
Nice.
Actually, just last weekend, exactly a week ago.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. Playing with some great bands there. Serena Ryder was on the bill, Yukon Blonde, Taj Mahal, Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
Oh, wow.
Really, really cool. I mean, I didn't get to meet everybody, but, just being able to watch all those bands and know that you played
just
the
be
first
part of
spot,
that.
it was just like, this is incredible.
She or he is sitting in the warm spot on that chair that I made.
Exactly. They're sharing the microphone.
That's very, very cool. So let's talk a bit about the music. We were talking about mandolins and stuff. I mentioned this to you earlier. When you hear somebody won a songwriting contest for a radio station, you usually assume that you're going to hear Default or some Nickelback clone or something like that. And so that was kind of when you sent me the first email and we were talking about this, I was a little worried. I'm like, oh god, here
can imagine.
But that's not the case. What are the inspirations here? What are you drawing from? I know that's a stupid question because it's like, oh well, here's 75 different things. But what were you? What if somebody was to say in a few words what you do? How would you say it?
Well, one of my favorite things. I mean, I'm a huge music fan. I just love music, and I love all kinds of music. So it's really hard to pinpoint, particular influences. But one of my favorite things, my favorite kind of songs are songs that really move you. Songs that you're in a totally different mood, and then you hear the song come on the radio or wherever in a movie, and afterwards it's just like you've forgotten where you were 3.5, 4 minutes ago. And in particular, songs that you can keep coming back to. Songs that you listen to, when you're, younger, and you listen to them when you're older.
Yeah.
You still listen to them 30, 40 years later, and every time even if it's not that long, every time you hear a song, you notice something new about it, and you can take something else away with it. I think that's incredible. That to me is like one of the most powerful things about music, that it's able to connect with you at a really good piece of music can connect with you in all kinds of different places in your life, and that's the incredible thing for me. So I try and so songwriters, I guess for me, that I really think do that well
I think right now, just from what you just said, I think every 5 years or so I can listen to some Cat Stevens and get kicked again, or Jim Croce is another one of those kind of guys.
I mean, there's your usual, your John Lennon, your Bob Dylan influence there for sure. Some more recent ones. A girl by the name of Patty Griffin. She's from Texas, phenomenal. I've seen her play twice, I think. She's phenomenal. A recent one we were just listening in the car on the way out here was Ray LaMontagne.
Oh yeah,
he's got some very cool stuff, and I don't know how he sings like he does night after night. It sounds painful, but
let's talk a little bit, I guess, about the process. You've been. How did you end up? I know, obviously, coming from a mid-sized prairie town, you're in Vancouver now doing this kind of folky rock thing.
Yeah.
How did you decide to do that?
Well, I moved out to BC in 2002. I moved out from a little town called Medicine Hat, Alberta, which of course
we're familiar with.
And I think I moved out and I ended up playing with a band called Doubting Paris for the last 7 years or so, and we had a lot of great experiences. We got to go to Europe a few times, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
We did a little bit of touring in Canada and a few in the States, and had some amazing opportunities. Got to open for some cool bands, and had a lot of songs used on TV, which was always weird because most of us actually didn't have cable. Didn't watch it. So somebody would call and say, "Hey, we were having your song in this show." We're like, "Cool, we've never heard of it."
Yeah, what show? Awesome. Yeah, send me the check.
So that was always amazing, blessing to have that. But we. Anyways, everyone, we kind of just decided to take a break from that and kind of on a semi-permanent hiatus right now. And so that was about a couple of years ago, and then I think we just I took a break for a while, and then I just realized, everyone wrote in my band before, so everyone co-wrote all the time, and I thought, well, I'd love to do some songs on my own and just see what happens. And they're definitely going to be more sort of mellow, folky songs. Sometimes you can't hide your vibe.
Yeah.
If that's what you write, that's what you write. If you write, guilty pop songs, a la Britney Spears, then that's what you write.
More power to you.
It's going to be really weird if you try and write folk songs, I would imagine.
I would imagine.
I wouldn't know, but anyways.
Cool. Well, so tonight at the show, standalone, you all by yourself?
Just solo, yeah.
And
solo.
And what can we expect? You said that you're not going to be playing guitar with your teeth or spitting fire?
No. It's just going to be a night of intimate night of songs and stories about some of those songs. And it'll be just nice. Grab a glass of wine or a beer, and we'll just relax and listen to some great music.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Wild Heather Books tonight, 8:30ish, $10 at the door. Mm-hmm. Let's tell one quick story about one song, and then we'll wrap things up here. The winning song from the contest.
Yeah.
How did this song come to be?
Well, that song actually came about. Came from a really cool emotional kind of place for me. It's a song called My Century, and it's a song I wrote kind of on not long after my great grandmother had passed away. She was almost 100 years old, and it just on the way home from her funeral, I was just really struck by how much change in the world had taken place in that past nearly 100 years, and how much change I might get to see if I live to be close to her age. So it's kind of a song sort of based on a true story, and there's a line in the song about somebody who wants someone to come play guitar at their funeral, and that was actually that was taken from true life. That's actually my grandma knew. She was very healthy right up until nearly the end, and she knew that it wouldn't be too long. So she had my mom called one day and just said, "Hey, grandma's not doing so well," and she asked if you and your brothers could come play guitar at her funeral. And that was kind of I didn't even know she was unwell. She's back home in Alberta, and so that was it was a bit of a shock. Anyway, so that whole experience is kind of where the song came out of, kind of based on that story. So.
All right. Well, Zaac Pick, like I said, tonight, Wild Heather Books and Ucluelet, $10 at the door. 8:30 things are going to kick off. It's an adult-only affair, so there's going to be wine and such served, which is quite pleasant. And we're going to finish with the song that won in the contest a couple of months ago with The Shore in Vancouver, and then we are going to do a bit of a Medicine Hat set to wrap things up. And
all right, sounds
good. I was actually thinking about it. That means we could if we wanted to play some Caitlin Porter and some Big Sugar, but we're gonna dial it back. Marika, I guess Seward now. Seward? Yeah, I just knew her as Marika Boudou back in the day. And little Rob Hudick, he was the local blues man back home. So we're going to follow Zach's award-winning song with a couple of other folks from the hometown. Thanks for tuning in. It is 9 minutes after 7 o'clock. And don't miss Zaac Pick tonight at Wild Heather Books, starting at around 8:30.